Alright, boxing fans. So finally it's coming. September 15. Yeah. Julio Chavez Jr. squares off against Sergio Martinez. Maravilla! Caramba! Until recently I heard a lot of stuff that Chavez Jr. is not a man of his own, that he's getting a piggyback ride on his father's fame. Well, there is nothing further from the truth. I followed his career very closely, and I can tell that since he got in the ring for the first time, he never used his father's fame. Despite his youth, he always was a boxer of his own. Yeah. But of course, yes, he did inherit a terrific genetic pedigree from his father. Sure, he owes his stuff to his father. No one can deny that. But even before he began actually his own career, he also grew up in his father's war camp, accompanying his father to all his major battles. Already at that time, though he was not just a little boy, he was a little foot soldier. That's a big difference. If you remember the fight of Chavez Sr. versus Costa Tzu, when Chavez was getting beaten up, during the break you could see Chavez Jr. He was still young, very, not little, but actually young boy at the time, comforting and rooting for his father. In this time and day, when we have so many kids around who learn to spit on their parents when their parents are the losers, it was very special something to watch. I bet every one of you would give everything to have a son like this. Yeah. We also must give a credit to Chavez Jr. camp, who developed Jr.'s career very carefully and smart. Considering his missing amateur experience, they did a terrific job of gradually increasing the quality of his opponents. I remember especially many people doubted him before Rubio fight. Rubio himself was boldly bad-mouthing Chavez, but Chavez Jr. has this amazing talent to disappoint his detractors so efficiently. When the fight with Rubio came, Chavez beat up Rubio so soundly and shut up him once and for all. Chavez Jr. is not a little boy anymore. Basta! Commedia alla finita! He grew up quite a bit. Especially even, with this new beard he sported. So he looks a bit to me like young Fidel Castro or Che Guevara. Good comparison, huh? Anyway, now Chavez Jr. came up to the toughest test he ever had. The fight versus Martinez. Is he ready for this test? You betcha, he is. Fighting a lefty, it's like you can fight them or you cannot. Many very good right-handed boxers perform very bad against lefties. Chavez Jr. has no problem of fighting lefties. He fought two already very good lefties, Ray Sanchez and Jose Zelaya, in 2007, 2008, and he knocked them out in the mid-rounds. And recently he proved again that he's ready for Martinez in his recent fight against another terrific lefty, Andy Lee, by stopping him in the 7th round. Though looking for an excuse, Lee's camp began accusing Chavez of taking anabolic steroid, and stuff. Come on, hey. Who doesn't take anabolic steroid in sport these days, huh? All the athletes, or almost all of them, take anabolics. Except some of them have so-called expert diet specialists who know when to discontinue the steroids so they will have no traces in their organism during the test. But some of those specialists, those who are uneducated or ignorant, don't know much about the pharmacology and pharmacokinetics of anabolics, so they miss the dates of discontinuations, so naturally the athletes are tested positive. Yeah. think he never fought anyone as good as Chavez Jr. Even in the face of Pavlik and Williams, the most serious opponents he ever had, he had very beatable opponents who had very flawed defenses and very little skills to handle a lefty, especially such a crafty, or should I say shifty, lefty as Martinez. So both Pavlik and Williams were very sweet gifts for Martinez, but Chavez is not a gift. Now I even think that Martinez promoter made a mistake by picking fight with Chavez Jr. He could pick someone beatable with prominent names like Daniel Gale from Australia or Felix Sturm from Germany, and it would be no less honorable yet far less dangerous assignment. By fighting Chavez, I think Martinez takes a huge risk. Predictions! Alright. So I think if it will be an honest fight, it will be close to 50-50. Chavez has a complete arsenal to beat any lefty in the world. His only weakness is, or I should say, area of improvement. He should do more side steps, going laterally both ways, left and right, and throwing his punches along with the side steps while doing a step, shut, it looks like crosses, and thus going behind the left or right arm and applauding, a barrage of big punches after that, thus giving more unpredictable angles to his opponent. Martinez, he is crafty and sick. Didn't say sick. Oh jeez. No, I didn't mean to say sick. He's slick. He's just slick. He's a slick lefty. And very healthy. And all he does in the ring, he does it real well. But to beat Chavez, he must come up with something totally new in his arsenal. What he used against Williams and Pavlik was good against them, but it might not work against Chavez. To surprise and beat Chavez, Martinez must bring a totally different trick from what he used against Williams or Pavlik. But if he will not bring anything new, then the chances are about 6-4 in favor of Chavez. Though I must say that having top rank in business, no one can predict this one, regardless what boxers do in the ring. Because judging by Pacquiao-Bradley fight, with this freaking top rank being in charge, we cannot rely anymore on any common sense in our judgment. For his devious business making, rigging the fight and producing phony champs like Bradley, and particular disrespect, towards the sport of boxing in general and boxing fans at large. So to be fair, I nicknamed Top Rank as Top Prank. So let's call them Top Prank from now on. And with the main prankster Bob Arum in charge, any fight, even most predictable one, becomes unpredictable and phony, can become. I'm not saying it will, but it can. Just think about it. In the world, this world screwed up by the pathological liars, politicians, who are, they mess us up big time. Boxing is the only thing, it's like a breathing hole, where the moment of truth arrives when two decent boxers squares off against each other in the ring. Boxing is the only island of existential truth in this ocean of gargantuan lies and travesty. Now with this crook Arum, even this tiny island of truth is gone. But anyway, let's go back to boxing. Regardless who wins, Chavez or Martinez, it should be an interesting fight to watch. They are so different in their boxing styles, personalities, and social attitudes that they are organically complement each other. Figuratively speaking, I view the young Chavez as a hungry jaguar or leopard, or whatever is best suitable for you, taking on Martinez and old shifty fox, or coyote. Anyway, Chavez is a fierce and devoted patriot of Mexico. He obviously can speak English, I assume, but if you noticed, he always gives interviews only in Spanish. That's funny. Martinez, on the other hand, having lived in 3 different countries, is a worldly cosmopolitan. Well, not as worldly as I am. I lived in 5 different countries, and one of them is defunct by now. 5. Yeah, but anyway, both Chavez and Martinez are terrific athletes and true champions, whatever version it is, WBC or whatever. And so hopefully, if Aaron will not falsify this fight and commit a horrible travesty by paying off the judges to prompt endless, pointless rematches, then the winner of this fight should fight Gennady Golovkin next, so we can witness another terrific fight of a century and find out who is the best middleweight in the world and who's the real macho. Peace, brothers, peace.